Not a people mover. This is the knock on him. Not a people mover nor a space player, with strong grit and impressive back bend. And this is what we needed, is depth. We needed depth. Shout out to From the Bottom, my man Cal. Also Mandeleon in the building, Newmax Radio. Tune in to Tasty Talk Tuesdays coming up tonight. Make sure to tune in. Courtney says Eagles did pretty well in the draft. I give them a B, only had 5 picks. Wish they would have drafted a safety linebacker, but good value in the second round getting receiver and running back. I was surprised the Eagles went offensive heavy. And as you guys are coming into the chat room, give me a grade for your team, how you felt they did in the draft. Are you happy? Are you upset? Are you frustrated? Whatever it is. The 4th pick was Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard of Memphis. I was a little bit surprised with this pick because he is not a he's not a 4th down or 3rd down, running back, but he is a hybrid. You can maybe compare him to like a Theo Riddick. You can maybe compare him to a Darren Sproles. He also had 7 return touchdowns in his career. And the record, I believe, is by, I can't remember who the record's by, but he's like in 3rd place all time. So the guy, it's not as if the guy doesn't have a lot of skill. He does. And I think he can get plugged into this offense immediately. So, and here's the other thing. I would compare him to a Felix Jones just because the main back from Memphis ended up getting drafted in the 2nd round. Tony Pollard got drafted in the 4th. So if you remember, the main back from the school that Felix Jones went to, which also drawing a blank right now in my head, but Felix Jones went to Arkansas, along with DMC went to Arkansas as well. So I'm drawing a little bit of a comparison with those two. Maybe not probably skill-wise, but just when you think about this other guy is the scat back and the other guy that's going to be in the backfield. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen. I'm very optimistic with each and every one of these picks. Malin DeLeon says, I'm cool with all the Browns picks in the draft. The Browns got better. Greedy Williams. The Browns have been getting better since the season ended. So Browns fans, Mandeleon, you guys got a lot to be excited about. And this is just the beginning with this squad that they have too. So very exciting. Now, the Cowboys also drafted 2 names that we know very well, Michael Jackson and Joe Jackson. So we drafted Michael Jackson and his daddy. Michael Jackson from Miami, Joe Jackson also from Miami. Very, very interesting back-to-back picks right there. Very interesting back-to-back picks. But Michael Jackson, 42 tackles, 2.5 sacks last season. 2nd team All-ACC. He is a cornerback. He broke out his junior year with 4 picks. He didn't record any interceptions as a senior, but he has length. He has flexibility, and I'm interested to see what he's going to do on this team. Joe Jackson, which I would kind of compare him to a John Randall. If you know the body build of John Randall, that's what Joe Jackson kind of resembles to me. He led the team with 9 sacks last year, 24 in his career, 6'4", 275. Not necessarily a dominant pass rusher, and his breakdown is that all skill, no athleticism. If you can get to the quarterback, I can care less. If you can get to the quarterback, I don't care what knock people have on you. As long as you get to that guy, as long as you get to that quarterback, as long as you get to drool face Eli Manning, that's all my major concern is. So I don't care about the knocks. I do think, though, he's going to provide depth, and I think that's mainly what this draft was about. This draft wasn't necessarily about trying to find the next star player. This draft was about finding depth, finding people that could come in, give you some great downs, give you some options that you can rotate out, and gives you some flexibility. That's mainly what this draft was about. So again, like I said earlier, I'm looking forward to what this is going to bring. 6th pick, you got Donovan Wilson, safety out of Texas A&M. He was a number 22 safety, according to Todd McShay. 66 tackles, 4.5 tackles for loss. 7th was Mike Weber from The Ohio State. Had 954 rushing yards. He's 5'10", 211. Was never actually a star, but again, it adds depth. Also coming into training camp, I'm excited to see what the position battles are going to be like. I'm excited to see who is going to step up on these defensive positions, who's going to be Zeke's backup. I hope and pray Zeke does not go down, but what do you do? And they did not draft a quarterback. As I'm talking right now at this moment, I am a little bit intrigued about that because I don't like either one. I don't like either one of the Cowboys' backups. So if something was to go wrong with Dak, and I hope and pray that does not happen. But if something, so for some reason, goes wrong with Dak, I don't like either one of these backups. And to me, that's going to be a major, major concern if either one of these guys was to go down. So I don't want to read too far in the future. I'm not jinxing Dak, but I'm just saying you need to have available people on the team just in case something goes wrong. You got to have your insurance. Just like insurance in life. You may not ever use it, but when you need it, you need it. So the last pick was Jalen Jelks of Oregon. He first team all Pac-12, led the Pac-12 defensive lineman in tackles last season. Has an 83-inch wingspan. And with Randy Gregory and Taco Charlton on shaky footing, the Cowboys add Jelks, someone that could possibly blow up as a late rounder. So we'll see what happens there. Very intrigued. So that's the Cowboys draft picks. I'm going to give them a B. I'm going to give them a B. Again, the Cowboys draft was not about finding the next star player, but it was about adding needed depth on the defensive line, in the secondary, running back, offensive line. I thought they might have drafted another offensive lineman, but I'm okay. And I trust the Cowboys scouting department, and I trust what they do. Shout out to Mo Cheese. As you're coming in the chat room, give a grade to your team's draft. How you feel about it? Other NFL news, kind of shocking news. Doug Baldwin of the Seahawks may have played his final down in the NFL. According to Adam Schefter, he's had injuries that could possibly and potentially derail his entire career. I hope that that's not going to happen because Doug Baldwin is the go-to guy. He is the go-to guy for Russell Wilson. So I hope that does not happen. I don't wish that on anybody. So hopefully he can get back and ready to go. So looking forward to him hopefully coming back on the field. Also, we have two players that have retired. Kicker Sebastian Janikowski, I think he had a great career. He has earned the most money of any other kicker in NFL history. Coming out of Florida State, huge name. Might have been the highest drafted kicker, possibly. But shout out to Jano retiring. Also, Jamal Charles, news broke today that he is retiring. He signed a one-day contract with the Chiefs. And shout out to Jamal Charles, former UT Texas Longhorn. Had a great career with the Chiefs, but after that, it was like, where did it go from there? I don't know what happened with his career, and it's hugely, it's an age thing too. It is truly an age thing. A lot of times, running backs that age cutoff of about 30 years old is when things normally start going south. Shout out to H-Rap B in the building. H-Rap, let me know how you feel about your team's draft. Give it a grade. And Wilson just signed that long-term deal, says Courtney in response to Doug Baldwin. I'll give the Falcons a strong C on the surface of the draft, but potentially for a B. Shout out to Big Kev. A-Trap says an A. Okay. Jamal Charles just broke down with injuries. That is true. Said Galloway, thank you for tuning in. He says an A for the Raiders. Raiders did get some good picks. And said, let me ask you this. Is the safety Carl Joseph, is he on the market? Because I'm starting to hear some rumblings that the Cowboys may be willing to give up La'el Collins for Carl Joseph. I don't know. That'll add some more depth. And like I said, I would give the Cowboys a B. I think, like I said, their draft was not about finding that star player, but about adding that depth. So we got Jamal Charles, we got Janikowski retiring. So big shout out to both of them and their careers that they had. Let's go over to the NBA playoffs as this continues and is starting to rev up. Before I get into that, I want to say Tyronn Lue, this broke, I believe, on Saturday probably, hit an emotional chord with the Lakers during the interview. An emotional chord with the Lakers during the interview. And here's my take on that. Two things. Number one, Tyronn Lue used to coach with LeBron. So he's already has one up on anyone else. Number two, the story says Tyronn Lue came in there with a great packet or plays. He was prepared. And that's what my parents, my dad's listening right now. That's what my parents used to always tell me. Come prepared, come dressed for success. Do not come in there halfway. And Tyronn Lue, what appears is that he came prepared. But like I said, Tyronn Lue has a step up on everyone else because he already coached LeBron. He has one foot in the door while everybody else is still standing outside. Also, Doc Rivers gets a long-term contract extension with the Clippers. He deserves it, especially what he was able to do with this team. Coaching this team up to get them into the playoffs was huge. So he deserves that 100%. Supposedly, there was a little bit of a story of him maybe coming to the Lakers. It doesn't sound like, obviously, that's not going to happen now. But Doc Rivers deserves that extension 100%. He give it to him. There's no other way around it. But the NBA playoffs, so I'm going to start at Saturday because, this is the weekend wrap-up. So I'm going to start off with Saturday's games. I'll give my take on